A 7-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court overruled its 1967 decision in Azeez Basha versus Union of India, which held that the Aligarh Muslim University is not a minority institution. The final determination on whether AMU is a minority institution was left for a separate bench to answer. The majority verdict laid down a test for determining whether an educational institution can claim minority status under Article 30, Clause 1 of the Constitution. The majority verdict, authored by the Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, held that the word established in Article 30, Clause 1 must be given a broad meaning and that the court will have to look into the details like who was the brain behind the establishment of an institution, see what was the purpose of the establishment, and what were the steps taken to implement this purpose. These also include acquisition of land and the source of funding.
It is thus evident upon a reading of the reference orders that the question of the criteria to be fulfilled to qualify as a minority educational institution is referred to this bench. From the order in Anjuman-e-Rahmaniya, referring the judgment in Azeez Basha to a larger bench, the question formulated in TMA Pi and the 2019 reference order, the question that must be decided by this bench is what are the ingredients, indicia or criteria for an educational institution to be considered as a minority educational institution under Article 30.
The Apex Court further held that the court cannot rely on the language of the Act, in this case the AMU Act, to determine who established the university. This would make Article 30, Clause 1 a fundamental right subservient to a statutory enactment. The majority verdict stated, the word established as used in Article 30, Clause 1 cannot and should not be understood in narrow and legalistic sense. The words used in Clause 1 of Article 30 have to be interpreted in view of the object and purpose of the article and the guarantee and protection it confers. The court must identify the circumstances surrounding the incorporation of the university, including through a reading of the statute to identify who established the university. Formalism must give way to actuality and to what is real. The right under Article 30, Clause 1 is guaranteed to minorities as defined upon the commencement of the Constitution. The decision marks the final day of Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud's tenure, with Justice Sanjeev Khanna ready to assume the position. The Union government, represented by Attorney General R. Venkatramani and Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, contended that AMU was neither established nor administered as a minority institution. It has maintained that AMU is an institution of national character that ought to maintain its secular origins and serve the larger interests of the nation first. The case has a history. Here is the timeline. In 1967, the Supreme Court ruled that AMU cannot be classified as a minority institution under Article 30 despite its Muslim origins. An amendment to the AMU Act in 1981 claimed the university was established by the Muslims of India. In 2005, AMU reserved 50% of postgraduate and medical seats for Muslim students, citing minority status. The Allahabad High Court struck down this reservation and the amendment, ruling AMU was not a minority institution. In 2016, the NDA government withdraws its appeal in the Supreme Court against AMU's minority status. The government argues that AMU does not qualify as a minority institution, reinstating its position based on the 1967 ruling. The case was appealed to the Supreme Court, which in 2019 referred it to a 7-judge bench to reconsider the earlier ruling in Azeez Basha versus the Union of India. In November 2024, which is today, a 7-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court, in a 4-3 majority ruling, overruled the Allahabad High Court's decision in the Azeez Basha versus Union of India case on how a minority character of an institution is determined, thereby paving the way for Aligarh Muslim University to get the tag. If AMU, founded in 1920, loses its minority status, it will be required to implement reservation policies for both students and faculty similar to other public universities. In case it retains the status, the university could offer up to 50% reservation for Muslim students.